Katie and Blake have not decided where they want to settle down. Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We have a major update from Katie and Blake, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, it has been some time now since Katie's finale. She and Blake have finally been able to show the world what they look like as a normal couple. So I wanted to check in with you. How are we feeling about Katie and Blake? What are your thoughts on their current journey?
I'm definitely rooting for them more now than I was, I'll say, after the final episode, because it wasn't sitting right with me that Blake was struggling so much with whether or not he was going to propose to her. And it honestly seemed like he did not want to, and he was scared out of his mind. And then he did. So I was like, oh, like, I don't know if I see this long term. But now kind of seeing them as a couple in the real world and stalking their Instagrams, like they look like any other couple that I follow and like root for on social media. So I'm loving it. I definitely feel like there's more to them now. And, this is only the beginning still.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, to be honest. Like, I feel like I always saw their connection, I always saw chemistry, but it kind of got derailed by that crazy Greg drama. And now that we can see them just like literally, they were hanging out live commenting on Bachelor in Paradise, and I felt like their chemistry was so off the charts. I found myself continuing to go back to see like what are they sharing with us next. So it's very interesting to see them in the real world just living their lives. At the end of Katie's season, she and Blake did not have a concrete plan of what their next chapter was going to look like, and they're actually still in the process of figuring it out. Katie reflected on their journey on her Instagram, and she wrote, quote, "This was our first selfie together on May 18th. We started our relationship in a bubble, only to continue our engagement in a bubble. For months, we couldn't be seen together. Our secret trips never felt long enough. We couldn't wait to experience life together. Real life, the simple things that many of us forget to appreciate." She then went on to share just some of the simple things they've been enjoying, writing in part the drive to get coffee together, spending time together surrounded by family, grandma taking a pic with her iPad, or the simplicity of walking the dogs together. Mariah, they really have built a new life together in the real world, and I kind of feel like this environment they're in now suits them so much better than that very fast-paced, high-stakes environment of the show. They really do seem like two pretty laid-back people, like they're finally in their element again.
No, I completely agree. And I think that goes for any couple that like a success couple that comes from the Bachelorette or the Bachelor. It's got to be so hard to form like a genuine, strong connection and bond with somebody because it is so fast paced and because you are being watched every time you're together. Anything that you say together, a moment you share, we all get to watch on TV. So I can imagine that's really hard. And then what an interesting transition to experience that with someone. And then it's like, okay, so this is actually how I live my life. How do you live your life? And then you kind of combine the two. But she's so right. Like it is the little things, especially in a relationship, like little things that you can do together and share together that grow your bond and make you stronger. So again, I'm going to say it again. I already mentioned this, but it makes me root for them more because I see them and how they're interacting and enjoying their time with each other in the real world. And they seem to be thriving. So good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Katie went on to explain that they finally got a, quote, taste of together during her mini trip to Canada, which I know all of us were following along on social media with. She wrote, "As I fly back to Seattle, I'm already counting down the days until we can do it all over again. We knew life was going to be an adventure, but for now, I'm soaking up the simpler things in life." Fans jumped in the comments section with questions about what is going to come next. One fan asked why she wasn't moving to Canada to be with Blake, and Katie replied, "We are experiencing both home countries together before we plant roots anywhere officially. She added that he would be visiting her in the US in a few weeks. So, Mariah, we have talked about this before. Distance can be hard on any couple, especially a couple that's already had to, as we mentioned, go through so many ups and downs just to get some time together. What are your thoughts on them taking this approach? It's kind of similar to what we saw from Tasha and Zach. She was in Newport, he was in New York, and they've been doing the back and forth thing for a while now. Do we think this will work for Katie and Blake?
I think so, mainly because Katie seems like, and she expressed on the show, like it seems like she will relocate to wherever she needs to for him. And not in the sense that like she would throw away her life and start a new one, to chase a man, but because she's in a position in her life where she has the freedom to do so. And she's ready to experience life with another person. So that is not by any means a negative statement about her. So I do think that they can make it because it does require sacrifice. Like long distance, it's going to require compromise on both parties. So I think they can make it. The only thing is with long distance relationships, if you are truly, truly in love with someone, if you truly 100% want nothing but a life with them, you will stick it out despite the challenging obstacles and whatever comes your way because it's worth it. People make time for what they want to make time for at the end of the day. And right now, it looks like we're seeing that from both parties. They're making plans on visiting each other, probably getting a feel for what life would be like there. Moving forward, like who's going to relocate where, but I'm interested to see where they end up settling, or even if they end up settling somewhere totally different.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because I feel like Katie is in a place in her life where she's like, hey, I really like San Diego. I want to go check out San Diego, but I also want to see Canada and get a feel for where you come from. And Blake mentioned in some interviews that there's just no rush, right, to get rid of the property he has in Canada. They are able to make it work going coast to coast, country to country for some time and finding a place that I feel like to them feels like their home together, and they just don't know what that's going to be yet, and they're not in a rush to figure it out. We also know, Blake mentioned on the show he's very excited to get back to work with the nonprofit he works with in Africa. Katie just hinted on her Instagram that she is very excited that they share this mutual passion for animals, for the environment. They have some projects they're working on together. So I do think that while this isn't necessarily that route of, okay, we're the bachelor or the bachelorette, found my person, got engaged, buy a home, sit down and start our lives, it feels like the right journey for them. I kind of feel like for some reason, I do see them ending up in Canada together, at least for this interim. Like they'll do the Canada thing, maybe they'll do the California thing, circle back, and then go to Africa. And then after that, Mariah, is when I think we might get some more permanent decisions between them two. It just feels like they've put it really out there that this trip to Africa is looming. And when a trip like that is so big, so substantial, it feels almost silly to put down permanent roots before then. But what do you think? Where do you see them potentially ending up in the future?
I completely agree with you. I think if the Africa trip is on like the forefront of their list of things that they need to do and accomplish and conquer, then it wouldn't make sense for them both to completely relocate. If he already has a residence in Canada, I don't know Katie's situation, but if he owns a home, then it would make sense for them to just kind of figure stuff out there, kind of build up whatever they can build before the big trip to Africa, experience that, conquer that, and then come back and maybe, like you said, make something more permanent. But I feel like just going off of what we've seen so much in Bachelor Nation is, or kind of settles in the New York City and LA area. Like they all kind of want to have that vibe. But I think about, and I don't know much about Blake, but I think about Katie and her personality, and I'm like, do I see her as a LA girl? Like, no, I really don't. And I don't know if I see her as a New York City girl either, because no offense to you New Yorkers out there, you guys are great, but I feel like the vibe there is a little, I don't know how to say this. I'm from Oklahoma, so everyone greets everybody on the street like, "Hello, how are you? Have a great day." So I don't know. I just don't see the vibe for Katie in New York City or LA. But that's where Bachelor Nation ends up kind of like gravitating to. So only time will tell.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. I am with you. For some reason, I think Katie could pull it off in New York. Like, she is strong, she is determined, but I just don't feel like that's necessarily the life she wants to lead. Who knows? Like you said, only time will tell. We know she has an interest in San Diego, so that honestly might be her way of being close to all of the Bachelor Nation LA energy, but still being removed from it. I definitely could see her there or in another beach city in California. It will be very, very interesting. The other thing is, Katie and Blake, at the end of the day, they are in a new relationship, right? This rush to move in together because you're engaged, like that, of course, makes sense, an engaged couple living together. But they're still in a very, very new relationship. So having them taking their time, figuring out what works best for them, I really do think is a great decision. You guys, that is everything we have to share with you for now. We, of course, want to know your thoughts. Do you disagree with us? Do you think they are crazy for not settling down and finding a permanent place? Or do you think this is potentially a great path for them? Let us know down in the comments. And if you are not already subscribed to our channel, make sure you do. Make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the incredible Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, be sure to check out our socials there on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.